lesson, we're going to focus on writing equations. Now, one of the forms we have for an equation is slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Now remember, when we talk about y equals mx plus b, the m here stands for the slope, the b stands for the y-intercept. So if we have an equation like y equals 3x plus 4, we would know that our graph hits the y-axis at 4, and then it rises 3 and runs 1. And then we'd have our positive slope of our line. So when we have an equation in slope-intercept form, it's easy for us to graph it. It's easy for us to see the trend of what's happening. So if we want to focus on just writing an equation, we need two things. We need the slope, and we need the y-intercept. Notice our x and y here don't change when we write an equation. That's because these stand for our ordered pairs. So we can put in any input, any x, and figure out what y is going to be. So if you want to write a linear equation using slope-intercept form, you need two things. You need to find your slope, and you need to find your y-intercept. If you find those two things, then you can write an equation. Let's look at an example. It says write an equation of the line whose slope m is 3/4 and whose y-intercept b is -4. So our slope is 3/4. Our y-intercept is -4. Pretty straightforward. Take your equation, y equals mx plus b, and plug in your m and plug in your b. Yes, it really is that simple. Y equals 3/4 x plus a -4. Now remember, anytime you see plus a -4, that is the same as y equals 3/4 x minus 4. A little bit neater writing it this way, but either they're equivalent. Either way works. So in some instances, ladies and gentlemen, you really are just going to be putting in the slope and y-intercept and getting your solution. One of these two. Okay. Again, to write an equation in slope-intercept form, you need these two things, slope and y-intercept. Now, there will be times when it's not so obvious. Take a look at this example. It says write an equation of the line shown in the graph. Well, notice up here they don't say m is this and b is this. But we know slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. This red line here is our graph. Okay, so we need to know two things. We need to know our slope and we need to know our y-intercept. Well, if we focus on slope, we can do this a couple ways. Remember, we always read graphs from left to right. So if I have a point here and a point here, if you think of slope as being rise over run, and I make my slope triangle, rise, -1, run, 2, there I have my slope, -1/2. Now, if you think of it in terms of these two ordered pairs here, remember we have our slope formula, the difference in our y's over the difference in our x's. Remember, this is x, y, x, y. We'll just take these other 2's here, and these are the 1's. It doesn't matter, as long as they're both 1's and both 2's. So I'm going to go -1 minus 0 over 0 minus a -2. -1 minus 0 is -1. Keep, change, 0 plus 2 is 0. Oh, look, we get the same answer. Okay? So when we're going to write our equation, we have y equals our slope, which is a -1/2, times x plus b, which is our y-intercept. Don't overthink a y-intercept. Y-intercept means where is our line hitting the y-axis? Excuse me. It hits the y-axis right here. At what value is that? -1. So there's our y-intercept, -1. Again, to write it neater, we can go y equals 1/2 x minus 1. Two things you need. You need your slope and you need your y-intercept. There's different ways to find slope, either by using a graph, rise over run, or by using our slope formula. And the y-intercept is just where it hits the y-axis.